Hey, True Believers. Chris Mack coming at you today with X-Calibre number 3. This is part 26 of the Age of Apocalypse that we've been going over. And man, I've said this before on the other two issues, but I feel like X-Calibre was definitely an underrated title. I mean, I know each writer only got 4 books, but if they could have turned this into like a maxi series, or, like, let's say, not a long-term thing, but maybe, God, more than 12 issues, you know what I mean? This would have been an interesting story in and of itself, the way that Warren Ellis put this together. So what am I talking about? Let's jump into this. And the print date on this book was May 1995. So at this point, Kurt Darkholm, in this universe, is heading towards Avalon to retrieve his mother, Mystique, and what's her name, Destiny, so that they can bring Destiny to Magneto to make sure that Bishop's story about an alternate timeline is legitimate. And what I really appreciate about this book that the other AOA books do not do is they give you a read up. And furthermore, I love how it starts out with always something like America is dead. And then they give you kind of this cool little teaser image. And this one is called Body Heat. It's written, as I said, by Warren Ellis, Ken Lashley doing the pencils, Tom, we'll get through this, Tom Wegrizian with Philip Mauve doing the inks, Joe Rosas and Digital Chameleon doing the colors, Richard Starkings and Comicraft lettering, Suzanne Gaffney, editor, and Bob Harris, editor-in-chief. And I'm so excited to go over this book because I really have been enjoying this, and I wish when I was younger that I would have known the X characters like I do now, because I don't know. I guess because Warren Ellis has written X-Men for a while, he understands the characters. And what I like here is how, again, show don't tell. Other than, okay, we got the read up, cool, it brings you up to speed, but when we jump into it, we get visuals to help guide us. We get the ship from the last issue, and I think that's supposed to be Callisto. That was part of the raid. You see her dead. And you start to see this carnage. You see all the corpses, bodies, and then all of a sudden we get Mystique being like, getting yourself into trouble, just like always. Hi, Mom. So in the midst of all this carnage, we kind of get this moment between mother and son. And I miss when hair was done like this, just that swoopiness. Yes, it's kind of a 90s trope to a degree. But nonetheless, it's a dynamic panel. We don't get a whole lot of dynamic panels like that anymore in mainstream comics. Sure, the indies, yes, but like Marvel, DC, it's very few and far between. Now, the other part that's going on in this book is, what's his name? Because of Danny Moonstar being able to follow Kurt to the Ghost Dance and hearing from Thunderbird how to get to Avalon. And so her, Damask, and Deadman Wade, Deadpool, were tracking them. And Damask is like this cold-blooded killer. Like Danny backtalks her in the last issue. Spoiler alert if you haven't read it yet. Make sure to pause this, go check out that review, or get the book and then come back. All right, you're back. Damask just point blank shoots her in the face. That's how hardened these... I think they're called Pale Riders in this book, are. And Deadman kind of always considered Danny sort of a friend. And he's like, what was about Danny? What about her, Damask? She's all dead. You didn't have to do that. Shut up, Wade. It doesn't take 3 of us to follow them to Avalon and torch the place. Besides, she never liked you anyway. What? So you can kind of see how Wade has been twisted in this universe. And just through a few moments of dialogue and actions, you just see the kind of person that Damask is. Now we get back to Kurt and Mystique. And he's trying to convince his mom to go to Avalon with him. And she is just ignoring the subject, blowing him off. And he's like, I get it. Everything they say about you is true. Because he's saying, she kind of alludes to the fact that she doesn't deserve peace to set foot on Avalon. And so Kurt calls her on what everyone was accusing her of in the last couple of issues. What was that? Make sure to read it. But nonetheless, he finally convinces her to go, because she's the fairy woman that took Switchback in the very first issue. And Kane, Kane meets them, tells them how Irene has grown frail and does not receive the visitors at the shores like she used to. And so Kane takes them. And check this out. This is what I like about this, how there's a little bit of Easter eggs where it's not like super, super on the nose. But it says here, Kane tells the Darkholmes a story as they range across the forest that fences Avalon. It is about a dead man named Charles Xavier, Kane's brother. Kurt thinks it's stupid. Because in this universe, Nightcrawler is a little more jaded, a little more bitter. And he's never met Charles Xavier. So when you apply what you know about Kurt in the 616 universe and apply it to this, what Earth did I always say this was, 293? I know I've said it in other reviews. Let me know down in the comments because I can't recall it off the top of my head. But anyway, Warren Ellis, in the same breath, really fleshes out Kane's character, talking about why he became a monk. Make sure to read it. It's really well done in just a couple of panels without 9 million long dialogue boxes. It's like maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 dialogue boxes. Boom, we get the idea. And we don't need like, oh, that's like so LOL, so random, so cutesy. See what I did there? No, none of that. And eventually we would get to Avalon. He's like, I'll bid you welcome to Avalon. Here's my new adopted son, Douglas. So yes, this is Doug Ramsey. Downfall of this, though, is this why I said I wish this could have been a maxi series, is we don't get a whole lot of time to spend with the characters. You know, Doug maybe gets like 1 or 2 dialogue boxes, and it's like, oh, come on. Like, I would have liked to seen more with Danny, more with Doug, because I'm partial to the New Mutants. I would have liked to seen how they interacted in this environment of Avalon. But because Warren Ellis only gets 4 issues, they have to start, wrapping it up. So here comes the threat. Here comes Wade. Here comes Damask. Now, remember how I said Damask, cold-blooded killer? Look at the look on her face. Like, Wade, determined. You see her, her resolve shatter. And so Wade says, she says, I didn't think there was a place that could be, there could be places like this. It's alive. What? It's alive. Birds singing, fresh grass, real green. Not like at home. Insects and worms busy in the earth. It's all alive. And being alive stinks. Let's go kill it. Now, again, I like how Warren Ellis and the art team here takes her, this hardened villain that we've been following, and we see the pain in her face, and she goes, I didn't know the world could be like this. Nobody told me. And because in her ignorance, she did what she could to survive, and the world twisted her. Good life lesson there. So anyway, before we can kind of get any more emotional moments like that with Damask, we jump back to Avalon, and Destiny's like, why should I go with you? I see a world where Avalon, or I see a future where Avalon is on fire. What if me leaving causes that? She goes, I have too much to lose. And Mystique's like, and I don't? So they begin to go back and forth on this. But as you can see, we only get moments of Doug Ramsey. There's no dialogue. It's kind of, oh, come on. And then there's an attack. And something happens with Kane, and it feels very anticlimactic. Again, I understand that they have to wrap things up. But again, I wish that Warren Ellis could have fleshed this out. Or even, years later, maybe release like a revision saying, hey, this is what else I want to tell in my story, but because of the time constraints, I couldn't. Because again, I really like these characters. Now there's one thing, okay, I think this is it here. Deadpool, or Dead Man Wade, is asking, like, why aren't you doing anything, Damask? And she goes, no, this isn't fair. It isn't right. I always wanted to do the right thing. But the world was bad. So I became like the world, because that was obviously the way things were. No one told me the world could be like this. So immediately, I like how we get this character growth, and it feels more organic. It doesn't feel shoehorned. It doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel like she didn't deserve it. She sees something that rocks her to her core. And in that instant, she sees what she really wants to be and not what the world wants her to be. That there is good character development. But there's a couple of other things. I don't really want to ruin a whole lot. But I wish, we get one more issue. So I was like, yes. But I wish we could get more. Because that's how good this book was. And when I was done with it, again, I was like, wow, that was kind of quick. But it wasn't. It's the same page length as most comics. It's just I had fun with it. And I was engaged. Because there's good action. Great character development. Minus Doug Ramsey. That's probably like the only thing that kills me, is I wish that we could have gotten more to this world here. I know we are in the grand scheme of the Age of Apocalypse, but I'm talking about Avalon and the people that dwell within and whatnot. I would have liked to see maybe them try to take up a stand against the Horsemen of Apocalypse there on Avalon and try to save it or something. But that's just me. That would have been a really interesting book in and of itself. That's why I wish sometimes writers could go back and say, okay, well, here's what I had to scrap. Like, do like a re-release, like as a collected trade or something, or a graphic novel form, and just say, hey, here's all of my notes of stuff. This is what I wanted to do, but at the time I couldn't. And then just let them read it in their entirety and kind of see what they feel for themselves, kind of like a director's cut. But anyway, I'm rambling now. I had a lot of fun with this book, and I hope y'all will as well. If you've enjoyed this, please make sure to support your local comic shop. And if you've enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate if you take a moment to hit like, share, and subscribe. Helps the Club channel more than you can possibly know. And if you won't mind hitting that fancy little X-Calibre bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys can come to the channel. And we love hearing your thoughts and just talking with y'all down in the comments below or on our social media pages, which I will make sure to leave the links down in the description below. So with all that said, hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.